Brutal Legend is a heavy metal themed game bound to make any metalhead smile. Created by Double Fine legend Tim Schafer, the man behind classics such as Psychonauts and Grim Fandango. Many players drooled at the idea of another one of his games. Some, however, did not get what they were expecting. You play as Eddie Riggs, voiced by Jack Black, who is the greatest roadie in the world. You are teleported to a heavy metal world and need saving from the evil Diviculus, voiced by Tim Curry. On your journey you face Lime White's forces, goths, and all manners of BDSM related characters. They all add to an epic gaming experience. Many of the characters themselves look like stereotypical rock music fans, such as the headbangers and makeup wearing glam rockers. The art style itself is very similar to that of Tim Schafer's previous works, which is bound to make any Double Fine fan squeal with fanboy delight. The landscape changes as you explore it, varying from grasslands to canyons and rocky mountains. All in all, wherever you travel, it always looks pretty and never becomes boring to look at. There are also options in which you can customise your character's look, meaning you can personalise your character to fit your style. Although the character graphics look great, there are occasional issues with clothing clipping into the character's body. Due to the nature of the game, many of the characters have long hair, especially Lime White, whose hair enables him to fly. The hair in the game very often breaks, making individual hair strands stick out at all different directions. Yikes! Talk about a bad hair day. The audio in the game is incredible, as it contains lots of metal classics guaranteed to keep your head banging as you're playing. The game also has the advantage of having several cameos from metal legends, making this the game that metal fans have been waiting for a long time. As well as Jack Black lending his voice and likeness to the game, there are also appearances from Lemmy, Ozzy Osbourne and Rob Halford, who each help you in your quest to free the land. The audio quality is very crisp, with the voice actors sounding true to themselves and not putting on too much of a show for the game. The game's gameplay is very deceptive in its approach. At a first glance, after playing the first hour, you see a regular hack and slash game. However, as you progress through the game, you start meeting AI such as the metalheads and are shown how to control them. The game then develops into a real-time strategy game, and unfortunately not a very good example of one. The RTS stages of the game are based around throwing rock concerts for fans, with the centre stage being your base and the fan geezers being a resource to get more troops. There is very little difference between the melee and rage attacks. Both character types die relatively quickly and have the same effect in combat. What is different, however, is that rather than just controlling who goes where, you can actually jump right into the battle yourself, which brings the game's hack and slash element back. With the game being a homage to metal, there has to be some metal related moves. This is where the solo feature comes in. With the help of Eddie's guitar, you can play guitar solos that do anything, from spawn your vehicle to melt enemies' faces. This feature is really cool when you first use it, but after a while becomes repetitive, especially if you just spawned in your vehicle, went to a cutscene, and then have to respawn it using the same guitar solo. As well as RTS combat, there are also a few boss battles in the game, which sometimes make the game lose some of its charm. These battles are often long and boring, and don't actually tell you what you're supposed to do immediately, so you're just forced to hack and slash until you either figure out what you're supposed to do, or get told after dying 3 times. As well as having the story campaign, there's also a multiplayer element to the game, which is essentially an expanded version of the RTS battles with new factions. All of this aside, gameplay can be very fun and can be rewarding after taking out multiple armies of enemies. The game was released on console in 2009 before being ported over to the PC in 2013. You can tell by the game's controls. The game's movement keys consist of the usual WASD keys. The attack keys are mouse 1 and mouse 2 for melee and range attacks respectively. It's the game's controls for the other characters that let it down, as it uses number keys to control them. It shows you this in the short tutorial at the beginning of the game, and pretty much only tells you once. Because of this, it can get confusing in battles to determine what button controls which feature, eventually becoming guesswork. As for the game's interfaces, there are essentially none. Although this keeps the screen clear, so you can enjoy your game thoroughly without getting distracted in battle apart from your character getting covered in blood and the screen tinting red, meaning you only really know what your health is when you're about to die, which can get incredibly frustrating. In terms of menus, there are mainly a set of different menu wheels for different features. These menu wheels were designed for the console game, as they are easy to navigate with a joystick, but are hard to navigate with a mouse and keyboard. As far as value for money is concerned, if you're a metal fan you will thoroughly enjoy the game for its soundtrack and cameos, as well as its gory yet satisfying hack and slash combat features. However, If you're looking for a game that will take you a while to complete, this isn't the game for you. The game's campaign length is around 9 hours, the side missions and multiplayer elements taking that up to around 12 hours. As well as the story mission itself, the game also has side quests that the player has the option of completing, which consist of racing and hunting missions. And that's about it. All the side quests are meant to add to the game, they unfortunately don't do much to add to it.
What?
As these missions are essentially the regular missions manipulated into different situations. The game, however, does have a lot of collectibles for players to find, which adds more to the game time. With all this said, I definitely think the game is well worth its Steam price of $10.99. In conclusion, this game is an unmistakably fun game, as there are lots of things for the player to be doing, and coupled with an awesome soundtrack, you are bound to be rocking along with the game. Only a few features truly let it down, but Metal fans and Tim Schafer fans alike are most likely going to be happy with this game. With all of that taken into consideration, I've rated this game 7 out of 10. This is because the game is very fun, but it has its setbacks, and unfortunately they really do affect the game's playability. So if you're a big Metal fan, I definitely encourage you to pick this game up and enjoy a few hours of metal-induced carnage.